in the trials of Valhalla, where true judgment comes from within, as Solomon writes clearly about the law and its wisdom that screams in the streets, where in Hosea 6 the clouds fall, and in Revelations 11 for 3 days and then rises and burns. And it says the olive tree, but it can only be the tree of knowledge. Nobody's really necessarily sure what tree it is in Revelations 11 that spits fire on everybody. In my reading of Solomon, a great historical figure to call upon in times of such trials in Valhalla, which can only take place within the clouds that fall and rise up in 3 days and burn for a purity, and the archangels that have favored you. I had come to a conclusion with Jesus Christ as Matthew that there is no real justice, for in the seek, kill, and destroy for justice, also is there a seek, kill, and destroy for justice, and it is continuous. And with this conclusion, you come to an understanding that the 144,000 that are prophesied to be chosen as the saints, and the final one chosen, Jesus, comes down in the flesh and is born as a shepherd, a healer, a party tender, love, fun, charismatic person, and then the jealousy of the king Herod, who seeks out the star, claiming that he is a thief, a tax collector thief, and in that realm that is made one with the tax collector thief as the clouds fall and rise up in 3 days and then burn in the favored one, as the archangels look for purity and wisdom, even in Solomon, who had examined that the law must take place and had wrote the commandments for a favor of purity is the only way. We come and we have stones that are taken by the many sons of men who pollute themselves with woman, and woman can't move forward until she is free from that stone that attacks every man that deals with her, and she goes to a church preacher, and a preacher frees her on somebody in whatever practice, whether it be a law that is lawless, that is what it's called in Caesar's practice, and is most generally used for a theft in the manner of seeking, killing, and destroying, or if it's the preacher's practice to simply find a salvation, which is a good thing to do, and find purity in the wisdom that is able to enter into heaven, favored by God and his archangel, favored by Jesus Christ and his father Hades, or the Holy Ghost with King David waglif in 1 Matthew 18 through 25. But in that rotation of the law, seek, kill, or destroy, they did something bad to me, and I'm innocent, and I seek retribution by the same manner of acting like them. But it says in the Bible, don't be like them. In that rotation, finally 144,000 will take place, and they'll all be chosen, them who come from foreign lands and strike him, punish him because he does not choose law. They beat him down and they curse him and they hex him and they slander him. They do everything they can in the book at him. Put him to a cross with Matthew and sacrifice his name today for the practice of law. And not just sacrificing the name in a vain glory, but in a glory greater than vanity. In the vain, they find purity, because it is said and written in the stars until that one comes. It says Herod comes and strikes him down because he doesn't choose law, punishes it because he doesn't choose law. He doesn't choose to be in that rotation of seek, kill, and destroy, and setting up a damnation for his own children in a future to come. And they do this to create law. And it ain't just Matthew with Jesus. It ain't just Solomon with Jesus. It ain't just King David with Jesus. It ain't just Beowulf with Jesus, or Odin with Jesus, or Caesar with Jesus. It is everybody in this world with Jesus that has this choice. You can either walk away from that law that seeks, kills, and destroys by its own foul judgments, by its own guilty judgments, by its own guilty practice of law, by its own foul practice of law, trying to turn you into them. You can either walk away from them or overcome them by wisdom, or you take it by them and turn into them as a smith. I can't say as a bird's feather that flock together. I can't say that the birds actually eat from their heads in vain glories. If they do, then they are not a true saint. In Jesus Christ and the devil amendment with the divination of Paul, 144,000, there was some kind of Uzziel was born of Jesus, and some kind of deal in heaven with Paul, the diviner, before the world had consummated childbirth. And then Jesus came down a second time to die in the flesh through Matthew at the cross as a tax collector, thief, also known as Levi. But the deal, in my understanding, I live off of omniscience that speaks off the pure spirit. The deal of the 144,000 between the divinations and Jesus Christ, who gave consummation with Delphi, the birth of Uzziel, also known as Satan in the Philadelphia church, the one who gave us life through the belly of a woman. And not only did they give us life in that manner, died from God, but in a perfect retribution to the archangel, they give us life to die back into God. It only rises in our image. When a woman goes to a church and she don't want that stone anymore, and it has to be grinded down into a powder in order to rise up in one's own image that God had favored and gifted with the wisdom for the purity, able to enter into heaven. These are the things that I record for myself, and everybody's welcome to listen to them, and I save them, and it's only to help a future of America grow to be something great. In the foreign movements coming from foreign countries, we are growing further and further and further away from Jesus Christ, and we are growing closer and closer and closer to law and war and its treachery. There is a lot of treachery in the law these days, and it's a foreign movement in the government, and all we can do is expose, write letters to them, people who have the authority to put bills and constitutional rights in place in order to protect the American people from the census and the eye of those four people who fornicate immorally between light and dark, killing one from the other and practicing with that uh, fallen angel or fallen child. However the matter, I don't speak to piss people off, but if you piss people off, you're doing something right, especially if it's righteous words and words of wisdom.